create and perceive our world simultaneously.
You don't remember where you've been or what you've just done?
No, I can't make new memories.
It's inverted. Its entropy runs backwards, so to our eyes, its movement is reversed.
Oh no, I've gone cross-eyed.
Christopher Nolan has earned his place at the top of Hollywood, a revered and respected filmmaker who somehow manages to create movies which are considered intellectual, but also big, bold, crowd-pleasing favourites. But how do these movies stack up against each other? In the Nolan movie pit, which gladiator will rise to the top despite a broken back, and which will fall back down under the weight of its own nonsensical plot? Join us as we rank Nolan's movies from worst to best. It's not the video that YouTube needed, but it is the one it deserved. I still don't know what that means. Let's punch it. Welcome back to Movie Punch, where we punch movies so you don't have to. Today, it's another episode of Ranked, and we're looking at the Maestro of Time. Doctor Who? No, Christopher Nolan. Nolan is, whatever you think of him, one of the biggest directors working today, and for good reason. He makes big budget movies that gets audiences in cinemas, and whether the movies work or not, the important thing is that people are watching. But I can't rank the important bit, so let's discuss which of his movies work best. I've ranked his 11 feature films from worst to best. I didn't count Following as it's not feature length and no one's really seen it anyway. Sorry, Nolan diehards. But enough chat, let's dive in with number 4. Wait, number 4? Producer Wendy, did you screw up the order? Oh, you've listed them out of order because Nolan likes to play with time. Okay, it's kind of funny, but that's going to make watching this a bit frustrating. We're not committed to the bit more than we're committed to making a good episode for everyone, are we? Oh. Okay. Despite having a pretty varied filmography, I feel like Memento is the movie you point to as the Nolan movie. It's clever and complicated, and you either go along with that and enjoy how different it is, or you get confused and tap out. Got confused and tapped out might just be the epithet for my headstone. For me, Memento is top 5 because it still feels unique and every rewatch gives you something new to discover. If you missed it, do yourself a favour and go check it out. If you did see it, how many YouTube videos did you watch to help explain it? Dunkirk is pretty much exactly what I expected a Christopher Nolan war movie to be. An interesting look into one aspect of a wider conflict, told in a non-linear way. I feel like the time jumps could have been distracting here, but they're really subdued, and I feel like they add something to the story without taking away any of the importance of what's happening. The Harry-style haircuts do stand out a bit, though. Still, I love how much this movie focuses on the ground level and what it must have felt like to be there. I feel like it stands up with other war movies, showcasing what those guys went through without it feeling like a history lecture. Good as it is, though, it didn't quite make my top 5. Let's find out something that did. Maybe? If you're a fan of this channel, you'll have already seen my deep dive on Inception and how great I think it is. And if you're not a fan of the channel, this disordered countdown probably isn't helping things. It's got a tight structure, great set pieces, an emotional core, but it's not quite my favourite, because one of Nolan's other movies just hits a bit harder for me. If you're expecting it to be The Prestige, prepare for disappointment. I feel a little bad listing The Dark Knight Rises this low, because I actually do really enjoy it. It gets a lot of crap for plot holes or whatever, but none of that stuff ever bothered me. The thing is, it just doesn't have as tight a structure as Batman Begins, and it just doesn't have that frenetic energy of The Dark Knight. But there's really a lot to enjoy here, and while it's the weakest of the trilogy, I feel like it's good enough to be a fitting end for it. That said, the script probably could have done with a dialogue polish.
So you came back to die with your city?
No. I came back to stop you.
Zing! Seriously, we're not even saving first place to the end? Okay, well, I guess everyone can be angry at me now instead. Stay tuned on the channel for a more in-depth breakdown of why I love this movie, because I feel like I can't really get into it in just a few sentences. But suffice to say, this movie just works for me on a fundamental level. I remember seeing the first trailer for it and just thinking, one of my favourite directors has made a movie just for me. Can humans survive long enough to escape the Earth? What does it look like to explore another solar system? Is time just a construct? These are big sci-fi ideas being explored in a blockbuster that's standing on the shoulders of 2001, and I am here for it. I get this is ranked a lot lower for a lot of people, but...
People like Coldplay and voted for the Nazis. You can't trust people, Jeremy.
I haven't rewatched Insomnia in years, but part of me doesn't want to because the last time I watched it, I'd been awake for over 24 hours. I was working nights at the time and had pretty bad insomnia, so it was the perfect movie for what I was going through. This movie captures the fogginess you get when sleep just won't come, but it's also this taut detective thriller with fantastic performances from Al Pacino and Robin Williams. It isn't quite top tier, but it's a good watch. I particularly like the sequence set at the circus. There wasn't a circus sequence? Maybe I do need to watch it again when I'm not sleep deprived. Hey, come on! We've got to get out of here! Cut! No, it's not working. There a problem, Mr. Nolan? There's some sort of problem with the audio. We can't hear you properly. Just hold on. Okay, let's go again. And cut. Perfect. Welcome back. We're now halfway through our ranking, which means the next movie could be literally anything. This is seriously getting on my nerves. It's a testament to how good a filmmaker Nolan is that he can make a 3-hour biopic about a scientist and have it be this entertaining. While a lot of people understandably will talk about the visuals, I think it's the script that really shines here. Condensing a man's life down into one movie is never easy, but doing so in a way that feels authentic to the man, but also so movie, is impressive. This movie boasts some excellent performances, some stunning scenes, and while it's not the top for me, I think this movie deserves all the praise it had heaped on it. The halcyon days where we weren't all sick of Batman's origin story. People talk about The Dark Knight as the movie that really cemented the idea that superhero movies could be great movies overall, but I feel like you need Batman Begins to set up this idea that a billionaire dressing up as a bat could be realistic. The fight sequences of the wrist guards, the tech around the cape, the Batmobile, it all feels grounded, even though of course it's not really. It also doesn't hurt that this has one of Nolan's tightest scripts. It's a textbook example of not just how to do a superhero movie, but any hero's journey movie. Also, shout out to Batman for avoiding the cops by turning off his headlights.
Arrow on the ground.
I lost him.
Wait.
Oh my God, it just disappeared! It's a ghost car!
Yeah, I put Prestige 8th, and I can already feel people switching off. There's a lot to love here, and I can understand why for some people this is top tier Nolan. The story is clever and engaging, and the payoff is excellent. Except, while the reveal around Christian Bale's character is exactly what I want from a movie like this, I feel like the movie kind of breaks its own rules when it comes to the Hugh Jackman doubles. You set up a movie with two magicians coming up with clever tricks to beat the other, and then you bring in Tesla and science happens. And the result was I felt cheated. A movie about clever magicians coming up with great tricks should never resort to what is effectively real magic. It breaks the audience expectations and not in a good way. I know I'm in the minority on this though. Please someone leave me a comment telling me that I'm not the only one that this bothered. It genuinely ruined an otherwise fantastic movie for me. I don't feel like I need to spend too much time on how great The Dark Knight is. Heath Ledger steals every scene as the Joker, but even in the moments without him, the movie is filled with great scenes. You only have to think about how many iconic lines this thing has to know it's an all-timer. The story can be a little messy in places. It doesn't quite have that flawless structure that you find in Batman Begins, but I feel like it more than makes up for it with epic action scenes, surprising revelations, and yeah, I already mentioned him, but the Joker is amazing in this movie.
Yeah.
Oh good, we're finishing the list on a high point. I've had people defend Tenet on the idea that it's a vibes movie, but I always think, what movie were they watching? I had two faces throughout this thing. And vibes movies tend to be light on plot and heavy on style, but style is never what I would consider one of Nolan's strong points, and the plot here is relentless, which would be fine if it wasn't so messy. The opening scene just doesn't have enough exposition for the audience to understand why they should care about what's happening. And when I was first watching the movie, I assumed that was on purpose, because the movie, like the title, would wrap around back to the start. But nope. Instead, the ending is even messier than the opening, and I spent the whole time straining to hear what anyone was saying. The sound design here is really atrocious, and I know it's by design, but I can't understand why they made these choices. There's a scene at the end where the protagonist is on the phone to Kenneth Branagh's villain, and he's acting his little Russian socks off as the camera slowly zooms on him. And I didn't hear a single word of it. Might have been important. I'll never know. So that's my ranking of the Nolan movies. Wendy, now that it's finished, can you give us a list so people can see it properly? Oh yeah, that's a massive help. Thanks. So what did you guys think? As always, feel free to leave me a comment telling me how wrong I am, and leave your own ranking there. It's up to you if you put it in order or not. I suppose having to decipher a number of lists would be a fair punishment for this video. Although it's really Wendy that's the bad guy here. And hey, where are you going? You can't just run off and escape any consequences. She's a ghost producer.